Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Oh my god, my cat distracted me. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I? My cat is still distracting me. I'm like, hopefully y'all could hear that. I'm still figuring out this mic shit. I am recording late, very late. I'm recording the day this should have got published and probably publishing this really late. Um, Hi. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of my podcast. Now, what was I talking about? My name is V Noir, and this week I, for some reason, had Over the Rainbow in my head before recording this. I was like, oh yeah, let's why don't we just sing that real quickie? Before I start my pod, because you know what? We like to have fun here. We like to have fun. This week I'm going to talk about Moonstruck, which is this movie from the 80s starring Cher and Nicolas Cage, which is really fun. It's from 1987. I really, really liked it. It was really fun. It was kind of a whirlwind, honestly. I will say, a big thing that was causing me to be late about this episode was like I was still stuck in wanting to talk about horror movies, and I was like, wait a minute, it's now November 14th. Like, I don't have to talk about horror movies anymore. Like, I can talk about whatever movie. Like, obviously, I didn't have to talk about movies leading up to Halloween, but I still was just like, gave myself that constraint and I mostly stuck to it. Or like I did, I talked about movies that were like horror adjacent, like Jawbreaker. I mean, like it's not a dark comedy. I mean, it is and it isn't. Like there's murder and then it is kind of funny. But yeah, so because I wanted to do like a double feature situation, which I might still do later. I was going to talk about Goodnight Mommy and The Lodge, which is two movies from the same director duo. And I was just like, because I was thinking about The Good Son. So then to go from talking about The Good Son to Goodnight Mommy felt like a perfect thing to do. But then I wanted to rewatch both those movies because I hadn't seen them in a minute, especially Goodnight Mommy, at least the original Austrian version of it. Yes, it is Austrian, and then it came out in 2014 originally, and then there was a 2022 remake, American remake, that I haven't seen yet. The kid in that is well, for one, I thought it was just one boy that they had do two parts, but he is actually a twin as well, which is really interesting. I'm like, damn, they're like identical twins, at least going off of the cover and everything like that. And yeah, kind of just thinking about movies with like fucked up kids and kind of staying in that mode and stuff. The original Austrian movie was co-written and directed by Veronica Franz and Servi- Servin Severin Fila Fila. Fuck. I was like, yeah, I got that first name, but that was easier for me. But yeah, and then hey, buddy, you're here. I love you. You're gonna go over there though. Please don't be on my computer. Um, I'm like, I already fed you. You just poop because I can smell it. Um, you just want attention, and I'm like, I gotta give the people what they want. I mean, I don't know what the people want because my audience is still growing, I think. Um, at least I'm trying to post consistently. So there is that. It's just like, uh-huh, we'll get there. I just was overthinking it, and I really should have just because I ended up watching Moonstruck twice, only because the first time I wasn't fully paying attention because I was trying to edit stuff related to the podcast, and then ended up not fully paying attention to the movie. And then I was like, wait a minute, I should have just paid attention so I could talk about it and then record it. So then I didn't waste a day. I just ended up realizing after the fact that I should have just paid attention so I could talk about it. Because I mean, I do watch, I watch movies for leisure too sometimes and don't pay attention. Like, what the hell was that movie yesterday? It was like School Dance, which was like a Nick Cannon directed movie from like 2014, but the script, according to my roommate, and even honestly, when I was actually paying attention, felt very much like 2008 or something. For some reason, I was just like, what the hell is happening? But anyway, so something about um Veronica and this other guy, Severin. I feel like it's Severin. Severin sounds right. Something about Veronica and Severin and their like need to write kind of fucked up kid characters because in the lodge, um, that's their American movie, or I want to say it's American. Like we'll go with it being American, but it's similar to how yes, the substance is English and American actors, but it had a French director, so it's like there's this gray area there. And I think that's also why the level of nudity was the way it was because like honestly, European audiences are used to more nudity and less violence. Like American audiences, there's a lot more violence and a lot less nudity, and I think we should change that in general. We gotta normalize the physical form and make violence not as normal, like at least gun violence. But I digress. So the lodge came out 2019, 5 years later after Goodnight Mommy, and still before the American remake of Goodnight Mommy, which came out in 2022. And that's on Amazon, I believe, as well. So I feel like I'll eventually watch it, but I'm like, I don't know if I have that dog in me to watch essentially the same movie twice, and then also The Lodge. And honestly, because of the way that Goodnight Mommy ended, and me coming into The Lodge, I was expecting one ending, and then completely got that subverted, honestly, because I was like, I don't know where this is going. And I saw that in theaters because I was excited. I was like, I really liked Goodnight Mommy, so I want to see more from these people. And this was really good too. I feel like it's definitely not a movie for everyone. And I'm like, wait, I'm not gonna fully talk about these movies because I do want to rewatch them and then make more of a judgment about it because I'm like on the rewatch, especially not in a theater, because there is the magic of the theater experience that kind of captivates you in a way where you aren't noticing as many issues, especially if you're like me and you only really see the movie like once in a theater. So, because I usually try not that I try not to rewatch or reread stuff, it's just like if I can fully remember the plot and how it goes, I don't revisit something because I want to revisit the thing with a fresh like mind of like, oh, I don't even really remember. So like when I came back to The Good Son, it's like I remembered the ending, but I didn't remember how they got there. So like I didn't remember anything about Elijah Wood and his character and what happened to him and like the grief he was going through and all that stuff. So yeah, and I mean he was acting. But okay, since I'm like right in front of the lodge's wiki essentially. Like the lodge was actually no. Let me talk about Goodnight Mommy because you will then understand why I looked at this and was like came into the lodge expecting something specific. So with Goodnight Mommy, two twin boys, uh, move into they move back into the home with their mom who just went through like a cosmetic like facial surgery. So we don't really fully know what's wrong with her, but she's like fully bandaged and stuff. And it's all shot from the perspective of the kids. So it's really like them dealing with like paranoia, thinking their mom isn't their mom anymore, and like is a maybe an alien or something, like someone evil, like their mom's just been possessed because she's not behaving the way she used to, right? And so these boys end up like sort of tying her up, trying to interrogate her and stuff. And yeah. So it gets kind of crazy. And then there's definitely like a twist. I don't want to really spoil it. I'll probably spoil it when I actually talk about it. But there's definitely a twist. So it's just like, but essentially it's like this movie, since it's from the kid's perspective, and it is kids like sort of overpowering an adult and playing like fucking with an adult. I came into the lodge thinking something similar would happen, and that is kind of exactly what ends up happening, more or less. And again, not to spoil the plot of this either, but with this one, I'm like, oh my god, I'm literally about to say similar things, but it is a brother and sister who move they don't move but they go to a lodge with their new stepmom who uh they're all kind of left there because the dad needs to go off and do something. I forgot, but he's a psychiatrist, and he was actually the new stepmom psychiatrist, and she just came from being in a cult and like got not detransitioned, but deprogramming from the cult, and he helped her through that. And I'm like, I don't think any of that is ethical, actually. I don't like that. But essentially, the kids don't really like her, and they decide to fuck with her, and it kind of goes from there. And I'm like, ooh, not a good idea, you guys. But it's also like, fuck around and find out, at least in that movie with the kids, because, their actions had consequences and they didn't think. what would happen, and the ending is pretty wild. Um, and like I love that I was like, I'm not going to talk about horror movies anymore, and then and then the ones I wanted to talk about, I still ended up talking about. But anyway, let me get into Moonstruck. But yeah, the synopsis is Loretta Castoroni, a bookkeeper from Brooklyn, New York. She's from New York. Finds herself in a difficult situation when she falls for the brother of the man she has agreed to marry. And I had never seen this movie. I think I knew of it. I mean, people love Cher. Cher is phenomenal. She's playing a 37-year-old woman, but based on uh, like her current age and, subtraction. She's actually 41 in the movie, and then again, based on his current age and subtraction, Nicolas Cage is 23 in this movie, which is so wild. But like him being all scruffy in the beginning definitely ages him. And also, whoever the cinematographer was for this movie was like, I'm gonna light the fuck out of this movie and make every time you look at Cher, she looks gorgeous because oh my god, was he her friend this whole movie? It was just like, god damn. Like she would just show up on screen and it's just like, oh my god, she's so beautiful. Jesus. And oh yeah, I forgot. It's like it is based in New York. It is in the 80s, so you do see the Twin Towers. And honestly, that was also making me think about like if people are currently shooting movies and TV or whatever that's supposed to be based in basically any time before 2001, and there's like a cityscape as like B-roll for New York. They're not doing a good job if the Twin Towers aren't in it, because I'm like, you can definitely find just footage of that, like just do like a found footage B-roll of that. Don't even try to like shoot the skyline. Like you could definitely just find it. Yeah, I just found out his name is David Watkins. Sadly, he passed away in 2008. He's done a ton of. He had done like how do you English past present tense. He did a lot of cinematography. Movies that I've heard of but haven't seen are oh, okay. I was like Obsession, like Beyonce Obsessed. But no, that was 1997 movie. The Good Mother is a movie I've heard of but haven't seen yet. He did the Three Musketeers, which is really cool, and apparently the Four Musketeers, which is a sequel I didn't know about. So there's that. I mean, yeah, he's been doing cinematography. He did cinematography since 1956 and till 2001. Wow. Oh, Jane Eyre. That was another one that I heard of but hadn't watched. I'm like, damn, I might have to go through his filmology because the lighting in Moonstruck is really beautiful. And yeah, like literally all of what I said in that synopsis is exactly the plot. Although I will say that we also, because she's Italian American in this movie, she's not in real life, but in this movie she is. So she's living in like a multi generational household. So she lives with her parents and her grandpa. I think paternal grandpa. I don't think it's her mom's dad. And I want to say her aunt and uncle also live in this house. And we kind of see a little bit of sort of her daily life leading up to basically what happens is she gets to propose to by her very, very boring boyfriend at the time. Like he's so boring, but also like just oblivious. Like, it's really bad. Like, so he just randomly is like, let's get married or whatever while they're out to dinner. And she's like, where's the ring? You can't just say that and not like have a ring. And then he's like, well, okay, how about this, my pinky ring? And he gives it to her and she's like, what, you're not even going to get on one knee? Like, get on one knee. And then he gets on one knee, proposes to her, and then she's like, "Oh, thank you," and then like puts it on her finger, her ring finger, or whatever. And I was just like, "This is he's so awkward." Ah. And then so basically, he has to fly off to Italy to take care of his dying mom. And so while he does that, he's like, "Hey, can you convince my brother Ronnie?" So her boyfriend's name is Johnny and his brother's name is Ronnie, and Ronnie is Nicolas Cage's character. And I'm like, oh, haha, the mom really just was not. um, Ronnie, Johnny, whatever. She was just like, oh, let's make it easy. They rhyme, yeah. Yeah. And so she goes off to find Ronnie to invite him to her wedding, and then but there's like bad blood, so the brothers haven't seen each other in like 5 years because there's bad blood. And then Nicolas Cage's character Ronnie describes to her what happened. He works at a bakery, and so he talks about how he Johnny I'm about to mix up their names, how Johnny had came by, and while Ronnie was using the slicer, honestly, right now I think I'm gonna be like, well, Nicolas Cage, because I'm about to confuse both of their names. So Johnny comes by while Nicolas Cage is using the slicer, and Johnny asks Nicolas Cage something, but because Johnny says something to him, Nicolas Cage's character ends up cutting off of part of his hand. And then after that happened, his fiance walks out on him. And so I feel like I haven't run into a Nicolas Cage meme reel in a while, but like a big one that was popular that I had seen out of context was like, um, I have no hand, I have no bride. He has his hand, he has his bride. I have seen that out of context, and I'm like, oh, here's the context. It's this fucking movie. And so I was like, wow, I didn't think it would happen that soon into the movie either, but that was really funny. I'm like, oh, look at that context. Of seeing where this like sort of iconic clip comes from. But yeah, Ronnie is big depresso and scruffy because of all of this, and Loretta, Cher's character, is just like, why are you like this? Like, calm down or whatever. And she invites herself over to Ronnie's house, and it's just like, I'm gonna make you steak because you need it for your blood because you know, you're not taking care of yourself. And then he gets all fussy, and then they fuck, basically. And so I was like, this again. This movie is basically a whirlwind. It's also a super easy hour 30, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, they really don't make movies like this anymore, where like they just get to the point and keep going. Get to the point, keep going. But also just in general, just like these really chill romance film. Because I was gonna call it a romantic comedy, but I'm like, I mean, yes, it's funny, but it's definitely more drama. Because while she essentially ends up cheating on her fiance with his brother, on the flip side, her dad is cheating on her mom with some floozy. And honestly, I don't know. I don't really remember if we know who this woman is, but he is cheating on her mom. And it was just like, what the hell, bro? And we get some of their dynamic a little bit because her mom brings up how stingy he is towards her and not wanting to like spend money or anything like that. And then on the flip side, we see him buying all this expensive jewelry and shit for his mistress. And it's like, oh, so you're just, oh, I hate this, actually. I hate this so much. And at some point, so basically, we're following both Cher's character Loretta and what she's doing in her affair, and then we're following her dad and what he's doing. And so the mom, because she has this sixth sense for it, is just like, I know he's cheating on me. She she goes to eat dinner at this restaurant that apparently this is the only restaurant that exists. No, but I think it's just like a restaurant that they frequent a lot and they know the owners or whatever. Like, they're there all the time because it's the same place that Loretta got proposed to. And so the mom is there. She sees this situation happen at a table next to her between what turns out to be a professor and his student having dinner together. And um, more or less, we can assume that he was having like sort of a maybe sexual or romantic relationship with this girl or this woman, college age person. And then she's like, you know what? I'm sitting alone. Why don't you just come eat with me? Like, why not? You're alone now. I'm alone. And, they have a chit chat or whatever. She asked him why men would like cheat or stray or whatever. And he says it's like about attention or something. And she says she believes it's because men fear death. They're fearing death, right? And that makes sense, especially for her husband, because it's like he is older and all this stuff. So it makes sense. But they weren't in agreement about, why men would stray or anything like that. And they end up leaving the restaurant together and walking arm in arm. And then she runs into the grandpa walking all five of their dogs. And it's just like, he sees her doing questionable, like, because she's arm in arm with this guy. And it's like, oh, this is kind of suspicious behavior, but she's not actually going to do anything. But this man is thirsty, honestly. Because he was saying there was something about being able to teach someone uh, something for the first time and the look of admiration that this person has. And that's kind of what he's seeking when he is essentially going after people who he fucking teaches. And I'm like, you can find that with anyone, honestly. Like, somebody interested in you will listen to you with interest and ask follow up questions, right? Like, that's like, and this is for people that like their partners and their spouses, right? Like, you legitimately are interested and invested in this person's life, even if what they're doing doesn't align with what you're doing, but you want to be in this person's life, you want to share a life together, you're going to want to hear about their interests and what they're into, what their career is and all this stuff, like um what their topics of interest are. I feel like I keep saying the same thing in different ways. But yeah, and I'm like, you just you gotta get out more, buddy. And then so because he's having this conversation with the mom, he gets interested in her and he walks her back to her place, which is this whole brownstone because they're in New York. And he's just like, wow, this is like a mansion. And she's like, oh, it's just a house. And he's just like, oh, well, I guess you can't invite me in because people are home, right? And she's like, no, actually, no one should be home right now, but I'm still not going to invite you in. And he's like, oh, well, you could come over to my place. I live in an apartment. You can see how the other, the other side lives. And she's like, no, I'm married. I know who I am. and, turns him down. And I'm like, God damn, he is desperate. But another thing to note too is like because Cher is playing this character who's 37, she's got these grays and everything like that. So after she sleeps with Ronnie, she decides to do herself up because Ronnie basically says, well, no, Loretta says she can't do what she's doing because she has bad luck. And of course, this would happen because of her bad luck, because her first marriage, um, she was iffy about having kids with her husband at the time. And then he ended up getting hit by a car and passing away, or hit by a bus and passing away. And so she regrets a lot of things from that and thinks that all of that is just this bad luck that she's accumulated. And it's just so interesting because it's like, sure, she has like a little bit of grays or whatever, but it was just like this feeling of like 37 being so old. And I'm like, especially now that I'm 31, I'm like, it's really not that old, honestly. It's like, wow, I'm an adult and I've been an adult for, I don't even feel like I've been an adult for that long, honestly. Like, I feel like when I hit 40, I'm gonna be like, wow, I've been an adult for a while now. Because it's like, I'm just barely on the other side of being a teenager and going through my 20s and unlearning stuff from growing up in like a really religious household and learning about my gender and how and my sexuality and things like that. And it's like, okay, I've learned, unlearned all in my 20s. And now it's like I take that information and go from there. Like I still haven't had enough time to just be essentially be an actualized adult. And I'm still not even there because I don't have like a wardrobe that matches how I feel about my gender, and things like that, like my gender presentation and stuff. It's like I still have stuff from like I would fucking wear in my 20s. Like it it's really not that old, and it's so wild that we live in a society. We live in a cis society. Um but we live in a world where anything past the age of 25 is seen as like geriatric, and it's like that isn't the case. Like when you get here, you're gonna be like, oh, why the fuck was I in such a rush to be on the other side of this? Like, literally take your time. It takes so long to even figure out. Like, if you actually give yourself the time to figure out what you do and don't like, and you're also with someone where you can actually talk about things like that, like, do you actually want to have kids? Do you actually want to have a family? Do you want to even live in a fucking house? Right? Like, some people just want to do a condo situation, live in an apartment. I mean, honestly, with how our fucking economy is, living in an apartment is more likely what a lot of people are going to have to end up doing. It's also like, what do you want to do career wise, right? And it's like, for me, because I've lived with depression for so long and haven't really had the will to live, I hadn't thought about the long term. So now I feel like I'm thinking more about the long term. And it's like, look at all that too. It's like I spent so long being depressed, dealing with suicidal ideation, really just living day to day, that I wasn't thinking about the future. I was just like, let me just make it past this day. Let me keep going, and like depression definitely takes a lot out of you. Honestly, like it took a lot out of me. Like I was exhausted all the time because I'm like mentally fighting off the urge to kill myself, and yeah, and I feel like that's wild to say, but it's like that's the reality, like I don't want to feel, I don't want to, I'm not going to regret the time that was lost because of all of that, because I still have the rest of my life ahead of me. And I'm thankful for that. Oh my God, my boy is up here again. He's been meowing at me. What do you want? I wish I could speak cat. But yeah, no, it's like I'm thankful for that. And I'm also like, I'm doing like a career pivot in a way because I'm getting into filmmaking. I know I don't really want to do um narrative film, like not traditional narrative film because it's like I love lighting. Low key lighting is my favorite. I'm like, well, it's so dramatic. I love it. I fucking love it. But honestly, I feel like I would do more shorts or music videos or just like more short form than long form. I think I have like at least two fiction movies in me or something. But otherwise, I definitely think I'm going to do more experimental things, which I'm very excited about. Very excited. I feel like next year is going to be really interesting because I'm going to be doing I'm gonna pivot and start focusing on doing more art making because the last year or so has been me more gathering skills and thinking about concepts and stuff. Because for me, especially after doing my undergrad, um, conceptualizing an idea takes a lot of time, a long time for me. But as soon as I have the idea and figure out how I'm going to do it, the execution is really fast. So it'll be like, oh yeah, I spent all this time thinking about something, but as soon as I'm done, like as soon as I'm convinced, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So I kind of do that, like I do that with buying stuff, I do that with my hair, um, things like that. I really think about it, and then when I'm like, yeah, no, let's just fucking go, let's fucking do it. I just fucking do it. So yeah, what was I talking about? Now, what was I talking about? Literally. Going back to Loretta and Ronnie. I want to say it's Ronnie. Ronnie, not Johnny. Yeah, Ronnie. So he says to her after they slept together, because she's just like, I can't do this, I'm marrying your brother. He says, what, let's go to the opera. Like, I could die if we could just go to the opera and just humor me this once and like I can move on. Like I swear, I can move on. And honestly, I really loved like he was pining and felt very earnest and I don't know, I'm like, damn. Passionate. There we go. I was like, what's the fuck another fucking word? Very passionate and in love with her right off the bat. Well, after their first interaction. And I'm like, damn, where the men at like this? But or like I just want to see that more in movies. I'm like I feel like I just said like so many times. It feels as though we're at a time where it's just more popular to like hate women or women in films, and I'm like and like actively hate them. And I know that people will be like, "Oh no, I don't hate," and it's just like misogyny or whatever. And it's like, no, but do you legitimately like your partner? Like in a lot of ways, whenever I see like those male podcasters or whatever talking about like using the using the phrase "fucking females" first of all, um, and all this stuff. It's just like, are you even like sure you're sexually attracted to a woman, but are you romantically attracted to them? Because if being with a woman is all about sex to you, just don't even fucking be with them. Like literally don't because you're not even thinking of women as people. You're thinking of them as a sex toy. Like move on. Like literally just be with your bros if you can't even fucking like entertain a conversation with someone. Like, there's so many fucking people out here. Like, you don't have to put up with someone just because you want to fuck them. Like, literally, there's so many people. Literally, go meet someone else. Like, I'm tired. Don't settle for less. I don't know why I sounded like that just now, but either way, so she's a bookkeeper. She does bookkeeping for her aunt and uncle, and she took the money from them, but then got distracted, decided to do her hair, pluck her eyebrows, get her nails done, get a whole new outfit for the opera. And then we see Ronnie as well. He's done up. He's not as scruffy looking. He looks good. My fucking roommate was calling him handsome Squidward, but like in the best way. Like Nicolas Cage this time looks like handsome Squidward, but in the best way. And I'm like, oh my god, you're so funny. And um, yeah, and I'm like, they're just so in love with each other, and it was really cute and wholesome. And they're at the opera, and at the end of the opera, guess who Loretta runs into? Her dad with the mistress. So, and then they're both just like, yeah, no, I didn't see you, actually, because her dad's like, who the fuck is this? And she's like, his brother, ha 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 ha. He's like, yeah, no, no, I don't, yep, I didn't see you, you didn't see me, whatever. And, yeah, I'm like, oh, this is kind of like, this movie happened over the course of like 1 or 2 days, maybe 3. So the next day, of course, Loretta, oh wait, actually, before that, Johnny comes back and stops at Loretta's house to like try to talk to her. And oh my god, he almost fucking leaves his suitcases. Like, he literally brings his suitcases over to the taxi, gets in the taxi, doesn't put his suitcases in the taxi, and is just like, please. And I'm like, I can't deal with this. Pay attention. Like, if he's like this with everything, I would not be able to do that. I could not. I could not. And he makes it to her house, talks to the mom. Then the mom asks him why why a man would, stray or anything like that. And he also says the same thing of like, oh, he is afraid of dying. He's afraid of death. And she's like, yes, exactly. Exactly, exactly. And her husband shows up, the mom's husband shows up, and he's just like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about anything. And and this is like him coming back from the opera. And the dad's just like, yeah, no, I don't think she's gonna be here tonight. I don't want to talk about it. Being all suspicious. And the mom's just like, you don't want to talk about fucking anything. Ever. And Johnny decides to leave and is like, I'll just come back in the morning, tell Loretta or whatever that I'll be back. Loretta shows up in the morning, literally shows up in her outfit from the opera, and then her mom is just like, hey, yeah, so Johnny's coming in the morning. And she's just like rushing and stuff to get out of her outfit. And her mom's just like, you have fucking love bites on your neck? Like, what the hell are you doing? And so someone shows up. It's Ronnie. And it's like, oh, panic. Oh my gosh. And then Ronnie sits down and is just like, I'm in love with you, da da da, and meets her parents. And he's really nice to them. And actually, it's funny because her dad doesn't like Johnny at all, but he seems to like Ronnie enough. And then someone else shows up, and it's just like, oh fuck, is it Johnny? But then it's Loretta's aunt and uncle, and they're just like, hey, so we just been to the bank. And they're like, and she's just like, oh shoot, I still have the money. I'm so sorry. And they're like, oh, thank God you still have the money. We didn't know what was up with you. They're just like, kind of trying to figure out Like, what the hell happened? Like, did you run off with it or something? Did you use it for drugs? Well, that was my assumption, at least, because it's like, yeah, you were given a ton of cash up front and didn't do anything with it, so, or, didn't do what she was supposed to do, which was go to the bank. So all of these people are here in the kitchen, and then Johnny finally shows up, sees his brother, and is just like, I don't know why you're here, but Loretta, I can't marry you because if I marry you, my mom's gonna die. Because he literally went over there, saw his mom, her she was near death, according to him, and then as soon as he told her that he was getting married, she sprung up. She um cooked this feast for everyone, ate so much. And so now he feels like if he gets married, his mom will die. So he's like, I can't marry you. And she's like, what do you mean? You fucking proposed to me. And like, she gets all upset. Because, I mean, she was going to call off the wedding anyway, but she's like, you're not going to call it off before I call it off. Fuck you. And then he takes the ring back from her. And then all of a sudden, Ronnie proposes to her. She does the whole thing of like, where's your ring? And then they look at Johnny and take back the pinky ring. And then she gets the pinky ring back and she's like, this will have to do. And then they celebrate. And Johnny's like, I don't know if I should even be here. And her dad is like, no, you're family. It's fine. It's fine. Ah, I forgot about this. But before Johnny showed up, um, it was right after Ronnie showed up. The mom is just like, stop seeing her to the dad. He gets up, slams his fist down, and is just like, okay. And that kind of resolves that side plot. And yeah, no, like, so Loretta ends up getting married to Ronnie, and they kind of just end the movie there. I like, this movie was such a fucking roller coaster. Very dramatic, pretty fun. Cher looked gorgeous. Nicolas Cage was Nicolas Caging, but very subdued. Um, Acting from him, like dramatic, but not crazy dramatic. I do love dramatic Cage, but I'm also like, it's fine when I mean, I don't know, he was very much telling the like, woe is me, and I'm like, damn it. Why do I just enjoy a man groveling, I guess. That's just how I am, apparently. Oh, that makes sense. I think he was also working on Raising Arizona, and that's why he kind of looked a little crazy. Oh my god, Vampire's Kiss came out a year after this. Vampire's Kiss is so funny as well. It's funny, but also like pretty dark. Damn, he's been acting for a minute. But yeah, this was gonna be a quick one because Moonstruck, I was just talking about one. It's really fun. It's only an hour 30. Nicolas Cage, he's not at the most Nicolas Cage he could be, but he definitely is a good time, and Cher looks gorgeous. This whole movie is gorgeous. If you want to look at the Twin Towers, you can watch it for that too. And yeah, no, I really liked it. And yeah, I'm gonna end it there. Follow me on Substack, where I post like extras and things like that about my different podcast episodes. That's vnoir.substack.com. I'm on Instagram, v underscore noir underscore, and TikTok, v underscore noir. I need to get back into Twitch streams. I'm probably going to only stream once a month, but that's v underscore noir as well. Check out my podcast archive, www.nwwitapod.com, and support me on Patreon, please. I really want to do film screenings with people. I think that would be a lot of fun. They wouldn't be movies that I would end up talking about on the podcast, so it'd just be really much a group activity. I hope to screen movies that are like hard to find or like a part of my growing personal collection of film, or just like maybe they're streaming and I'm using something to share it with you all. And yeah, I will see you all next time. Bye.